Back in 1965, I had wanted to actually hear what Bach's music sounded like in his house, and it took a number of years, maybe over 40 years, before I finally ordered plans from Germany for the clavichord and started building the instrument as I have built this one here. This one combines several different kinds of wood. It has the flaming maple or fiddleback maple with cherry, and the panels are redwood from Northern California, which is a nice complement to the cherry trim and the cherry base. This one has 5 legs, which is a little unusual, but it's one of the largest clavichords ever made, and it really could use that extra support in the middle. Those woods are very, very stable. The sounding board is from northern Italy, and the bridge is maple from Minnesota. The tuning pins are handmade here in Wisconsin, very special black tuning pins, and it's very difficult to find the components that you really need to make a faithful copy of an instrument. And that's to say too, with the tangents, which are underneath here, they are brass and they come up and hit the brass strings. It's the only instrument ever designed where you're having 2 metals, with a keyboard that is, 2 metals coming into contact with each other. And the instrument has this, you can see blue felt woven in between the strings. And what that does is several things, but one of the things is that when you press a key, you can see the felt moving up. And so it acts like a backing so that you don't overstretch a string. Unlike a piano that has a stop underneath the key, the clavichord, the only thing that stops the key is the string. And that's really good because you can affect a certain kind of vibrato, which was known as beboom. So that's what's happening, is that it requires a certain touch because of the fact that when you play a note, there's a recoiling of the tangent as it hits the string. The key takes that impact, and you have to allow your hand to roll with that. The overall muting, that's called listing, dampens all the strings, and in this area I call the angel choir, which is a sympathetic strings, and it allows you to load a note into the angel choir. If you were to mute that off, whoops, now it's simple in its construction. That is to say, there are no dampers and there are no regulations anywhere. There's nothing that can go wrong except the instrument can either go out of tune or a string can break. And what stops this, if we examine it closely here, that if we were to hold the keys down like this, and so as the tangent strikes the string, it opens the string up to vibrate toward the bridge. And immediately after it's released, the string becomes dampened from the left-hand side of the tangent. And this creates a wonderful dampening effect. There's really no other instrument that can kind of produce this. That kind of thing. And there you can really hear how it's energizing the angel choir, which acts as a sustain pedal. Back during antiquity, 300-400 years ago, young musicians were warned by teachers that they should never start on the harpsichord because they would just end up being a banger, and that they should start on the clavichord. And I believe that that's true. And I also believe that if you want to be a better pianist, that you should own a clavichord. The clavichord to Bach, when you consider that Bach played the loudest instrument in the world, big huge pipe organ, and then the softest instrument that could be played so soft and even softer, may barely be audible. It became his inspiration for brain food for the inner ear. All of his music that was written up until the time of the well-tempered clavier, that's what this is, the well-tempered clavichord, that was written for the clavichord, but it was written for a well-tempered clavichord, not an equal-tempered clavichord. Bach's world of music existed on the 53 keys of his clavichord, which were the same keys, 53 keys that were on the organ. And all of the music that he wrote, the French suites, the English suites, the partitas, and so on and so forth, were not only written for the clavichord, but they were written for a special tuning which was known as Pietro Aaron quarter comma tuning. Bach was extremely in love with his Silbermann clavichord, which we will be getting to here in a bit. And his whole life, he wanted no more notes to the keyboard. For instance, this one has half of an octave extra in the bass and a high F in the treble. With this instrument, not only did I have to make the case for it, but the keys as well had to be made, and they're very, very special. They have ebony here and pearwood on top of ebony for the raised keys, and bone key tops, and boxwood arcades. And then this wood here is maple, and we'll be able to see that the theme of the upper piece and the lower piece are complementary, or in a way symmetrical, as you see here. And that wood was wood that my father had cut back in Minnesota probably in 1970, and it was a piece that was, he saved it and saved it. He was a woodworker. I'm glad that he saved it, because it's hard to find wood like that, and it has to be, of course, book matched.